My name is Liam. I am 18 years old. I live in a small town, a quiet place where everyone knows each other. My life has always been simple. I go to school, help my mother at home, and spend my evenings sitting on the old wooden steps outside our house. My father was a calm man, a man who never spoke too much. He worked as a mechanic, fixing cars from sunrise till evening. He had strong hands, but a very soft heart. Sometimes I felt like he loved us more than he ever knew how to say. Growing up, I never fully understood him. He would sit alone after dinner, drinking tea, staring at the sky. He rarely talked about his feelings, and I never asked. We were close in a quiet way, but not in words. I always felt there was something he wanted to tell me, but he never did. But life had other plans. It was winter when everything changed. I still remember that morning, cold, silent, and heavy. My father fainted while working in the garage. Neighbors carried him inside, and we rushed him to the hospital. I sat in the waiting room, my hands shaking. I kept telling myself, he'll be fine. He always is. But deep inside, a strange fear was growing. When the doctor came out, his face said everything before his words did. He told us my father had a serious illness, something that had been growing inside him for years, something he never told us about. My mind went blank. My mother started crying. I felt like the whole world collapsed on us. "He knew?" I whispered. The doctor nodded gently. "He did. He hid it because he didn't want you to worry." Those words cut deeper than any knife. My father knew, and he stayed silent. He kept working, kept smiling, kept living, just for us. I felt angry. I felt confused. Why didn't he tell me? Why didn't he trust me? Why did he carry everything alone? That night, when I saw him lying in that hospital bed, so weak, so silent, I felt something break inside me. Days passed. His condition got worse. I spent my time sitting beside him, watching the machines beep around him. One evening, he looked at me and whispered, "Liam, come closer." His voice was tired but gentle. I held his hand, and for the first time in my life, it felt cold. He said, "I'm sorry, son. I couldn't tell you. I wanted you to live without fear." I wanted to cry. I wanted to scream. But I stayed quiet because I didn't want him to see me break. He continued, "You're strong, much stronger than you think. One day, you will understand why I did everything." I nodded, even though I didn't understand anything at all. Then he smiled, a soft, peaceful smile. A few days later, he took his last breath. That moment, I felt like my heart stopped with his. I held his hand, crying like a child. I kept whispering, "I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry I never said I loved you enough." The room felt empty. The world felt silent. And I felt alone in a way I had never felt before. A week after the funeral, my mother came to my room. She held a brown wooden box in her hands. It looked old, yet carefully polished. "This is from your father," she said quietly. He wanted you to have it after everything was over. My hands shook as I opened the box. Inside, there were 3 things: a small letter, a rusty old wristwatch, a notebook with a blue cover. My heart started beating fast. I opened the letter first. It began with, "My dear son, if you are reading this, it means my time has ended." My eyes filled with tears, but I kept reading. He wrote about his illness, how he knew for years, how he chose silence so I could enjoy my youth without fear. He wrote about the nights he watched me studying, the mornings he left early so I wouldn't see him in pain, and all the times he wanted to talk but didn't know how. Then he wrote something that broke me completely. I wasn't good with words, Liam. But every hard day, every long hour, every sacrifice was my way of saying, "I love you." I held the letter close to my chest, crying silently. Next, I picked up the wristwatch. It was old, scratched, and simple. My father wore it every single day. On the back, there were small engraved words, "Time is the real gift. Use it wisely." Then I opened the blue notebook. Inside, I found something I never expected. It was filled with letters written from me. One for every birthday he thought he might miss. Letters for when I turned 20, 25, 30, even 40. Advice, jokes, memories, lessons, all written with love he never said out loud. There was a letter titled, "On the Day You Feel Lost." Another, "For the Day You Fall in Love." And one more, "When You Become a Father." I realized then, he didn't leave me. He left a part of himself that would stay with me forever. That day changed everything. Weeks passed. I started wearing the old wristwatch every day. Every time I felt confused or stressed or lost, I opened one of his letters. And somehow, I always found the answer I needed. One letter said, "If you want to be a good man, start by being a kind one." Another said, "Courage is not loud, son. It is quiet, steady, and patient." Slowly, my anger faded. My confusion softened. And I started seeing my father in a new light. He wasn't distant. He wasn't silent. He simply loved in a quiet way. A deep way. A way I didn't understand when he was alive. Now, I understood everything. His late nights, his tired eyes, his quiet smiles, his long hours at work, his silence about his pain. All of it was love. One evening, months later, I went to his old garage. The tools were still on the shelves. His chair was still in the corner, and the air still smelled like oil and old metal. I sat in his chair, wearing his watch, holding one of his letters. At that moment, I realized something powerful. My father didn't just leave me memories. He left me wisdom, guidance, strength, a map for life. His last gift wasn't the box. It wasn't the watch. It wasn't even the letters. His last gift was love. Silent, patient, and forever. I looked at the sky and whispered, "I understand now, Dad. Thank you for everything. Life teaches us in strange ways. Sometimes the people who speak the least love the most. Sometimes the strongest hearts are the quietest ones. And sometimes the biggest gifts come after someone is gone. My father showed me that real love is not loud. It is steady. It is patient. It is sacrifice. And it stays with us long after the person leaves. His last gift changed my life forever. And now, every day, I try to live in a way that would make him proud.